Tragedy strikes Brooklyn Park. Small aircraft crashes into home, leaving a community in shock. Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, March 29, 2025. A small aircraft crashed into a residential home in Brooklyn Park, Minnesota, just after noon on Saturday, leaving the community in shock and mourning. The devastating accident resulted in the tragic loss of all passengers aboard the plane, while the residents of the home miraculously escaped unharmed. The crash ignited a massive fire that engulfed the house, sending thick plumes of smoke into the sky and drawing a rapid emergency response. The aircraft, a SOCATA TBM-700, had departed from Des Moines International Airport in Iowa and was en route to Anoka County Blaine Airport in Minneapolis. The flight, which was supposed to be a routine journey, turned into a nightmare when the pilot lost control of the aircraft moments before reaching its destination. Witnesses reported seeing the plane descending rapidly, spiraling toward the ground before making impact with the home on a quiet suburban street. Residents in the neighborhood described the moment of impact as a deafening explosion. "I was in my backyard when I heard a loud roaring sound, followed by a huge bang. Then there was fire everywhere," said local resident Michael Reed. "I ran toward the house, hoping to help, but the flames were too intense. It was heartbreaking." Another witness, Susan Carter, recounted the harrowing moments after the crash. People were screaming, and the smell of burning fuel filled the air. The family that lived there was standing outside, in shock. They had just stepped out to go grocery shopping minutes before the crash. It was a miracle they survived. Within minutes, Brooklyn Park firefighters, paramedics, and police arrived at the scene. Firefighters battled the raging flames as thick black smoke billowed over the neighborhood. Paramedics worked swiftly to assess injuries, while police officers secured the area. "We arrived to find the house fully engulfed in flames," said Brooklyn Park Fire Chief James Collins. "Our primary concern was ensuring that no one was trapped inside. Once we confirmed the residents were safe, we focused on extinguishing the fire and containing any further damage." Despite the best efforts of emergency responders, all passengers on board the aircraft perished in the crash. Officials have not yet released the names of the victims, pending notification of their families. As news of the crash spread, community members gathered near the scene, many in tears. Neighbors consoled the affected family, offering shelter and support. Local churches and organizations have already begun organizing vigils and support groups for those impacted by the tragedy. "This is such a tight-knit community, and something like this shakes us all to the core," said Pastor William Johnson of Brooklyn Park Community Church. "We will do everything we can to support the victims' families and those affected. Our hearts go out to them." The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, and the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, have launched an investigation into the cause of the crash. Preliminary reports suggest that the pilot may have reported engine trouble before losing control of the aircraft, but officials have not confirmed the exact cause. "We are examining flight records, maintenance history, and communication between the pilot and air traffic control," said NTSB investigator Rachel Foster. "We will also analyze data from the aircraft's black box, if recoverable, to piece together what happened in those final moments." For now, the biggest question remains: what caused the aircraft to suddenly plummet from the sky? Aviation experts say that the TBM-700 is known for its reliability, making this accident particularly perplexing. Some speculate that mechanical failure or pilot error could be factors, but the investigation is still in its early stages. "It's too soon to draw conclusions," said aviation analyst Mark Reynolds. "Accidents like these require a thorough investigation, and it could take weeks or months before we have definitive answers." In the wake of the accident, the Brooklyn Park community has come together in remarkable ways. A local GoFundMe campaign has been launched to support the displaced family, raising thousands of dollars within hours. Neighbors have offered food, clothing, and shelter, ensuring that the family is cared for during this traumatic time. "We lost everything, but we still have our lives. And that's thanks to fate or divine intervention," said Mark and Linda Thompson, the homeowners. "We are incredibly grateful to everyone who has reached out. We can never repay the kindness we've received." Minnesota Governor Tim Walz expressed condolences to the victims' families and praised the efforts of first responders. "My heart goes out to those who lost loved ones in this tragic accident," he said in a statement. "We are committed to supporting the families affected and ensuring a thorough investigation to prevent future incidents." Lawmakers are now discussing potential measures to enhance aviation safety, including stricter maintenance regulations for small aircraft and improved air traffic monitoring in residential areas. For those who witnessed the crash, the emotional scars will take time to heal. Counselors and crisis support teams have been made available to residents, first responders, and anyone affected by the disaster. "It's something that stays with you," said firefighter Sarah Lopez, who was among the first on the scene. "We do our best to save lives, but sometimes we arrive too late. All we can do now is support the families and hope that lessons are learned to prevent another tragedy." As Brooklyn Park mourns the lives lost, the community also stands as a testament to resilience and unity. From neighbors rushing to help, to first responders battling flames, and local organizations rallying to support the victims, this tragedy has shown that even in the darkest times, kindness and compassion shine through. Though questions remain unanswered, one thing is certain: Brooklyn Park will not forget this day. But in remembering, they will also rebuild together.